Look, I gotta talk about this because I know gameplay issues, that's been the issue and it should be prioritized. But the sound currently in 2K, since it's been released, it's probably one of the most obnoxious things as far as user experience, right? And I don't even want to touch about this from a user experience. From a health perspective, this is concerning, right? If you can hear currently, I'm in Street Kings and I'm being overloaded. The sensory overload, visually, the court colors, audio, you can hear the audio. And what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna play a game and allow you to hear how obnoxious this is, right? Now, we gotta hear this guy talk. All right, fine, I get it. He's part of the game. But pay attention to these drones. Why 2K, right? It's this sensory overload, right? You're hearing the people, and that's fine. We can have the people there. But then now we have these drones constantly, constantly humming while you're playing, and you'll see here that you can't even hear the basketball. You can't hear the basketball bounce. You can't even hear you dribbling the basketball because guess what? Whoever's engineering the sound or 2K hasn't really addressed or at least properly balanced the audio. Listen to this. No, you bouncing the ball, you can't hear it, right? But you hear the people, you hear these damn drones, right? And it's just since your senses are getting overloaded. Look at the court color. Super bright. You got people screaming, and we can have that, right? Why are these drones making all these sounds, right? So from a user experience, and some people perhaps they're not even bothered by this. If you're someone, and perhaps you may not even be thinking about this, when your senses are constantly getting overloaded like this, whether it's intentional or unintentional, it will have some effect on your behavior. It will have some effect on your mood, especially if you're already someone who have some health concerns pertaining to your senses. Now, from a user experience, obviously 2K, I would love for 2K to address this. If you're not going to do that for, from a user perspective, consider the health implications, right? You have a lot of young people playing this game. You have a lot of people who are already overstimulating from social media and internet and all that. And they coming in here and we're here to play basketball. We're here to enjoy the experience of playing basketball. And I understand 2K have to do some things to make this, I don't know, immersive, to kind of immerse us in the experience. But if you want to do that, can you give us the option perhaps maybe to mute this, right? Mute these sounds, because you go to your settings, you can mute certain things like the PA volume, but you have no option to mute any of this. And if 2K can't do that, maybe when we come here, maybe we can press a button where it goes quiet, right? It gives us the opportunity, if we want to game in silence, we can game in silence. We don't have to hear the drone. We don't have to hear the people, right? It's obnoxious, right? And from a health perspective, it can have unintended consequences if it's not already doing that. Listen to this, right? So my advice to someone who perhaps you have some known sensory issues, or you're someone who perhaps you have ADHD, you have autism, you have stuff related to your senses, pay attention to this, right? You may think, oh man, my mood hasn't been this, my mood hasn't been that. Some of it may have to do with this, right? Unfortunately, for whatever, we don't have an option to quiet this right now. We don't even have the option for 2, and I don't know if 2K is gonna do this. They need to patch the sound. And look at this. You hearing this? And look, here's what I'm gonna do, right? I'm gonna go into the city, and this is where it gets me, because you go into the city, which is the first place that 2K will load you into when you start the game, and again, you get bombarded with these sensory. Listen, right? Visually, there's already quite a bit happening here, and I give 2K kudos this year. They made the city a lot smaller, right? But one of the things they haven't addressed is this. It's just overly stimulating your senses. We don't want that. And if I don't want that, if I want the option not to be stimulated with these car noises, with these motorcycle noises, 2K, just give us a button here. It can be on the screen where we can press it and it just give us silence. You can have your visuals, because obviously your ads is part of your revenue, right? But why do I need to hear all this going on around me right now in the city? For immersive experiences, perhaps, right? But for a user who this will affect their health because the sound is not balanced, the sound is obnoxious, give them the option to mute this if you're not going to patch the sound or if you're not going to improve the sound, right? This kind of harkens back when we had that 2K where Legend was someone coming down in a helicopter and you were just bombarded again with these audio, those sensory overload, right? And users shouldn't have to experience this if they don't want to, right? And if perhaps 2K cannot fix this audio or maybe patch this audio where it can be more tolerable, then give users the option. Just give us a button to quiet this, right? It's impossible to be here. Come on. It's impossible. And I am in the mental health space, so part of this perhaps is just bringing my attention to it because I'm in the space where I do or have dealt with people who have issues pertaining to their senses and sensory overload. So it kind of brings it at the forefront of my brain. But I'm going to walk in here in the rec because if you look at my settings, I have it set up where my sounds are to the minimum, right? 10, 0, and the PA volume, if you have that anywhere high, then you're in trouble because you're going to hear everything that's going on in the PA system in the city in addition to all these cars. And there we go. You see that 2K TV? I have it on 5 and it's still coming up. So this is what I do. Put it on 0, right? If you're someone where your sensory or you're noticing that this is really, really affecting your health, do this. Like put all of them, if you can, to 0, right? And a lot of big, YouTubers or people who are posting or playing this game, they probably already have their sound settings to the bare minimum. So they may not even be aware or maybe they're not experiencing these issues. But just something to think about, right? Imagine if this was the city. If you walked in the city and it was like this, right? Or you had the option to turn the city to this. Because if you're someone who say, hey, give us the immersive experience where we can feel that we're in a city, that's okay. But I think 2K, for whatever reason, they really haven't shown us that they have the flexibility or even the ability to give us a sound experience in the city that's honestly tolerable, that we can tolerate, or that most people can tolerate. If they can't, just give us the option to do this. Give us a button where the city can sound like this, as opposed to, I'm going to walk out here in the city. Why 2K? Look, If you can, I don't know if you can, 2K, just all these cars and motorcycles, shut them off if you can, or make it that you can only hear your audio. You can only hear your car sound. You can only hear your motorcycle car. And look, I'm getting distracted because this stuff is running around, right? And this is where we talk about sensory overload. I can barely finish my train of thought. I can barely finish processing what I'm processing because I'm getting interrupted by all these sounds out of the blue. So look, look, why can't we have the options to just hear this? That would work for me, right? And I think that would work for most people who perhaps might be dealing with some sensory issues, right? It's already visually, they got to do their stuff. I mean, obviously, they got to go ahead and put their advertisement. And I think they did a great job minimizing the city. But 2K, please, if you can, fix the audio. And if you can't, which sometimes there could be issues related to, hey, perhaps this is not something that you can do, or maybe it's not a priority right now and you don't want to devote man hours to it. Just give users the experience where give us a button. It can pop up on the screen. Mute city. Mute city. If you're in Street Kings, mute Street Kings.